Good morning. My name is Kevin Montoya. I'm the fire behavior analyst for Team 5. I'm going to give you a little bit of a weather and fire behavior update this morning. So our temperatures last night cooled off and we had an increase in relative humidity, and that's a pattern that's going to kind of maintain itself over the next few days. That higher relative humidity is driving our probability of ignition down to around the 60% range. That probability of ignition is a factor that we use to judge how fast fire is going to spread. It means if you threw 10 hot embers out into a grass field, how many of them would start a new fire. We've been up in towards that 80 to 90%, and now we're dropping down towards that 60%. And as the week goes on, the next couple of days, that should get down into 50s and maybe even below. So that's good, because spotting has become and has been a bit of a pill. It's been an issue on this fire. And it's not only the spotting, but what it's landing in. Fuels on this fire, especially at the upper elevations, are timber. But in between the trees, especially up in the northern area of the fire near that McKinley Grove, above that McKinley Grove Road, it looks like somebody kicked over 30 years of project pile work. There's just lumber everywhere, and that lumber's drier than anything that you're going to find at Home Depot. It's drier than kiln dried lumber. The $1,000 fuel moisture, the amount of moisture that's in the logs that are, I don't know, bigger than a piece of firewood, it's right around 8%. So that's critically dry for us. And so as those spots get established, they're able to get established and start basically campfires. And that amount of heat and energy it puts off is very difficult to suppress. And those were popping up all over the place, so especially up on the north end for the McKinley Grove. The other thing that's driving the fire is the topography. Very steep terrain, very hard to access. And when those spots get established at the bottom of the slope, it's similar to like if you had a match and you decided to hold it upside down. That heat and energy all follows the slope and wants to go up. And with that substantial mass, all that Home Depot lumber that's lying out there, it's really making it difficult and it's kind of outmatching what suppression can do out there. On the plus side, last night with those high relative humidities, we hit something called moisture of extinction. So that means the amount of moisture that's in the air that doesn't allow grass to burn. And last night, I don't know, maybe around 2, 3 in the morning, the southern end of the fire where we're in that basin previous fire perimeter from 2024, it has a lot of grass in there, and it got to the point where the fire wouldn't carry any longer. And so they hit that tonight, and they'll hit that again tonight, and they hit it last night. And so that's something that's starting to work in our favor. The other thing that's starting to work in our favor is when we mentioned that the fire is almost unstoppable when it gets to the bottom of the slope, and until it gets to the top of the slope, when that fire behavior switches, more like a match held right side up. A lot of that's getting taken care of with strategic fire operations that are putting fire at the top of the slope and preventing that really intense fire behavior from getting up the slope and hitting the control features that are up there. So we've had some factors that were very difficult to contain, very difficult to handle, and we're starting to turn a corner on it. Weather's starting to improve, and those strategic tactics are starting to get ahead of it in those critical areas. That's all for fire behavior, unless you have any questions.